The Galaxy M32 may not be the best phone when it comes to raw performance in its price segment, but if you look at the overall package, I feel for its price, this is a decent smartphone. I spent about 2 weeks with the Samsung Galaxy M32 and in this video, I share my thoughts. Hello everyone, Aman here from Mr. Phone, and before we start, please go ahead and hit that red subscribe button if you haven't already, and also press that bell icon so that you don't miss any of our latest videos. Let's start with the design of the smartphone, and this gets an up. Now, I had mentioned this in my first impressions video as well, that the phone is indeed chunky, but despite that, the polycarbonate construction here is solid. I also love the design language that Samsung decided to take with the smartphone. Next up is the phone's display that also gets an up. So this right here is a 6.4-inch Full HD Super AMOLED panel that refreshes at 90 Hz, and you get Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection up top as well. Bezels are thin with a slightly thick chin. Overall, in terms of colors and contrast, no problems at all. In terms of brightness, it gets plenty bright, guys, for both indoors and outdoors usage. This panel doesn't disappoint whether you're playing games on it or whether you're watching movies. Speaking of movies, as I said, the experience is very good while watching movies, but taking Netflix as an instance, so HDR content is not supported on Netflix. I mean, the display is every bit capable, so why not? This gets a down. Besides, ports and buttons get an up, the volume rockers offer amazing tactile feedback, the fingerprint reader is fast and accurate, there's a USB Type-C port for charging and file transfers, the headphone jack is present, there's a dedicated slot for storage expansion as well. Okay, so the main storage on the Galaxy M32 is eMMC 5.1 in comparison to UFS 2.1 that was used on the Galaxy M31s, which is the predecessor of the smartphone. What this does is that if you do buy the Galaxy M32, then you might feel that sometimes the apps are taking a little more time to launch than usual. But then again, the Galaxy M31s was launched at a starting price of 19,499 rupees, while the Galaxy M32 starts at a price of 14,999 rupees, which is about 4,500 less than the M31s. So we need to take the lesser price of the M32 into consideration as well. Okay, moving on, in terms of call quality, network reception, Wi-Fi reception, the Galaxy M32 performed superbly, and this gets an up. I had no problems whatsoever. However, not having carrier aggregation could be a problem if you happen to live in an area with weak connectivity or if you don't have a decent Wi-Fi connection. So this gets a down. Samsung sells the Galaxy M32 in a choice of two variants, 4GB RAM plus 64GB storage, which is priced at 14,999 rupees, and 6GB RAM plus 128GB storage, which is priced at 16,999 rupees. In terms of pricing, the Galaxy M32 gets an up, and my reason for this is that the phone comes with a good design, a class-leading 90Hz Super AMOLED display, a huge battery with amazing battery life, more on this later, a capable 64-megapixel main rear camera, more on this later as well, and One UI 3.1. Before elaborating on the software, just know that the RAM management is good on the Galaxy M32, which deserves an up. I mean, despite only having 4GB RAM on my review unit, the phone was able to hold up to 10 medium to heavy apps in the memory. So One UI 3.1 based on Android 11 features a rich software experience, and this gets an up as well. You get tons of features such as a customizable always-on display, there is secure folder, there is Samsung Pay Mini, there's a system-wide dark mode, this device is protected by Knox at its core, and there's so much more. However, this phone also comes preloaded with a slew of bloatware apps and duplicate apps by Samsung, which gets a down. Although the good part is that most of these apps can be uninstalled. The Galaxy M32 is powered by the MediaTek Helio G80 SoC, and here's the tough one. Does it get an up or a down? Well, this gets an up for the most part, but hear me out. In terms of handling day-to-day tasks, this phone does just fine, and the battery life for that matter, thanks to the 6000 mAh cell under the hood, delivers phenomenal performance. This gets an up. So during my usage, I could easily last around 2 to 2.5 days on a single charge with this phone, and I was getting about 9 hours of screen on time regularly. The place where this chipset kinda lacks is during high-intensive tasks. For instance, I could only play Call of Duty Mobile on medium graphics and 30 FPS, and while the experience was fine, but casual games, well, they of course ran perfectly well. Finally, the cameras. So the Galaxy M32 features 4 cameras at the rear. There's a 64 megapixel main lens along with an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens and a couple of 2 megapixel macro and depth sensors. The front is graced by a 20 megapixel selfie snapper situated in the notch. The 64 megapixel main camera gets an up, I think around the 15,000 rupees mark. This is one of the best phones for capturing still photos. In ample lighting, be it indoors or outdoors, photos turned out vibrant and contrasty. Details were good, the dynamic range was okayish, and while the darker areas could have been handled slightly better, I don't think there's much to complain about here. The ultra-wide angle camera, on the other hand, while the shots exhibit fine color reproduction, the details definitely need improvement. Coming to the photos taken in dim lighting conditions or during the evenings, I was impressed by the good overall performance of the M32's camera. And let's not get into the macro and depth sensors, they are just 2 megapixel cameras, so don't expect much here. But otherwise, the ultra-wide camera and of course the main camera are more than enough. In terms of selfies also, the overall output was nice and crisp with no complaints in terms of skin tone. However, after turning on portrait mode, I did notice that the camera oversaturated my skin tone a bit in most of the photos, and even with edge detection, well, that's also not perfect. In terms of video recording, these are the 1080p 30 fps video samples shot from the rear camera, and this is the max this phone offers. Simply put, I like the colors in the output taken from the main camera, while the stabilization looks better in the output taken from the ultra wide angle camera. See, for the price, this is decent, but video recording does have room for improvement. Maybe a software update could help. So guys, this is the 1080p 30 fps video sample being shot from the front camera of the Galaxy M32, and this is what you can expect in terms of output. So right now I am walking, you can get a pretty idea of the stabilization. I'll also quickly show you the HDR performance. I'll just shoot against sun, it's quite windy today. So yeah, this is how the HDR performance looks like. Right now I'm shooting against the sun is right there behind me. And also tell me how does my audio sound, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. This is the selfie video sample, the 1080p 30 fps video sample being shot from the front camera of the Galaxy M32. You let me know everything about it in the comments below. Cheers. So you guys can see the up and down counters on your screen right now, and accordingly these are the pros and cons of the Galaxy M32. Now let me put it like this for you. If you want a phone that has an amazing Super AMOLED display, you want a solid battery life, you want a stable software experience, not to forget a secure software experience, you want a phone that clicks amazing photos, and it costs around 15,000 rupees, I would say definitely buy the Galaxy M32. You won't be disappointed. As for alternatives, while there aren't many that I can recommend, I would still say that the Moto G40 Fusion is a good option for its 120Hz display and stock Android of course. And you can also look at the Narzo 30 5G, which is again a solid offering from the house of Realme, the review of which is coming out very soon, so stay tuned to Mr. Phone for that and for all the latest in tech. Thank you for watching.